Welcome everyone to another figure review of the Jada Toys Street Fighter 2 as we take a look at the third and final figure from the first wave. It is Fei Long, who was released alongside Ryu and Chun-Li. Of course, in today's franchise, Fei Long is considered one of the OG characters, but I'm old enough to have played the original Street Fighter 2 game, and this is when Fei Long was not even in the lineup. We had to wait until the Super Street Fighter 2 for him to be added in, and since this line is based on Ultra Street Fighter 2 the Final Challengers, which is like a modern day version of the original Super Street Fighter 2 game. So looking at the packaging, of course it's the same as the other two. It is in some sort of classic retro arcade machine style, which I think is a very cool concept. And then at the front we have a photo of Fei Long when you select the character, and then on the side of course we have the artwork, which is the same as the other two. And then on the other side, more artwork of the characters and then some information on that particular character. And then at the back, of course, this is the wave 1 with all 3 characters. So just like the other 2 figures in the wave, it does come with this background in a small pixelated look, which of course is the stage of Fei Long. And here is the figure inside its packaging. So here is the first look at the Fei Long figure out of its packaging, and I do have high expectations, considering this is the third figure in the wave now. Both Ryu and Chun-Li turned out amazing, and this is kind of the same. I think first impressions, I really like the way they've sculpted it. Of course you could argue it's probably easier to make a Fei Long over the other characters, since he doesn't really have a costume, it is just a topless man. But you still got to get the scale right, you got to get the sculpt right, and I think they have done that. The head sculpt's probably the most important. He has this really serious look to him, and I do like it. And as I mentioned before, the other companies who made Street Fighter figures, they never gave us a Fei Long. So this could be a chance to get one. I think considering today's market, this is considered very cheap as well. So that's one of the main reasons why this lineup has attracted a lot of people. So I do have the Sota toys, and they did make a Fei Long, and these figures are okay, but I just feel that they're very outdated now. First, they're very slim, and second of all, for some reason for Fei Long, his legs are very loose, and I think the reason might be because he's meant to do some kicking poses, but I don't know why they made it so loose so that he doesn't even stand that well. So in terms of first impressions, I really like this. For the accessories, it does include this alternative head sculpt, which keeps the focus and seriousness of Fei Long, except that his mouth is slightly open. And then for the alternative hands, it does have these 2 kind of kung fu martial arts poses, of course very much like the legend Bruce Lee, and we know Fei Long is modeled after him. So very basic there, but I think it's definitely enough for Fei Long to get into many different poses. And then for the flame effect, this is what it is. It's a rubber type of material. So both Ryu and Chun-Li did include a stand for their particular effect, but for Fei Long there isn't one included, because this is actually just meant to be for his leg, and you just kind of just pull it through and you can create some sort of pose if you want, and you just got to get him in the right standing position. So once you place the effect into one of the legs, of course you can create that signature move of Fei Long, but I would have preferred if they included a stand for him to hold up, because I think the effect is quite heavy and he can't really stand on one leg, and I know that for his signature move he kind of flies up in the air as well, so it would have been better if they included like a stand, but in terms of the look I think it's pretty amazing. Next up, let's test out the articulation. So I'm going to start off with the head sculpt. So it can go side to side, round and round, very smooth, and it can also tilt left and right, downwards this much, and then upwards quite a lot. For the arms, they can stretch side to side, no problem, and then move forwards, backwards and upwards, and it can also stretch this far back. Very good movement there, and then inwards quite a lot as well. And then there's also the elbow bend, and there's also a rotation on the bicep. And then for the hand, of course, there is a turn as well as a hinge to go outwards and inwards. And then for the body, so the upper torso, it can turn all the way around if you want, I believe, but I'm just going to do it side to side. It doesn't really have a downwards or upwards motion, but the rotation's there. And then for the abs, there's a full rotation again, and then not much side to side, but there is an ab crunch. And backwards as well, it does create a slight gap here, but you can see it's okay for me. And then for the legs, probably the most important movement, so kicks forwards and backwards this much, and then the splits, and then we also have the knee bend and rotation, and there's also rotation on the foot, and there's also a hinge to go upwards, downwards, not much side to side. So for the legs, I think it's okay, not as much as the Chun-Li figure. Maybe it could be better, but I'm gonna have to get him into some more dynamic poses later on. So the articulation is very basic, but I guess it's kind of what we expect. So now for the quick side-by-side comparison, starting off with some Sota toys with Fei Long and Ryu. Here it is next to the Sota toys Ken and Guile, as well as next to the Sota toys Sagat and M. Bryson, or Vega as they call him in Japan. And here it is next to the other two Jada toys in the line with Ryu and Chun-Li. So now for my final thoughts on the Jada toys Fei Long. This is a very good figure once again, as they have given us another almost perfect sculpt of the martial arts expert. I would say in terms of the look, he may even be the best out of the three. The figure does feel very solid, and considering the price, this is definitely a quality feel about it. The movement of the figure is enough for some of his main poses, and it also includes a head and also alternative hands, which are great additions. The flame effect is obviously good, but there is no stand to support him standing, so they should have made it slightly lighter, and especially for his signature move, as he is normally flying up in the air to do the kick. I know there is a limit on the accessories due to the budget of this line, but I would have liked them to added an extra head sculpt, like an even more aggressive one, and even some sort of jacket for him to be removed, because it is possible on the Ryu figure. But overall, this is a solid piece, and it does deserve a 8 out of 10. It is a massive improvement over my Sota version, and it fits right into the line of those as well. So my favourite is still the Chun-Li figure, since the colours and the overall face sculpt expressions is the best. But all three figures have impressed me so far, and I look forward to more in the line. If you enjoyed this video, go check out the other two reviews, and thanks for watching.
We're not done yet! You haven't seen anything! Get ready!